case anybody thought we needed a new small premium crossover to talk about, you are in luck. Today, I'm going to talk about the Buick Envista. So what is it exactly? Well, it's a 5-passenger crossover from the company that some folks may be wondering if they were even still around. Details, Lynn, please. I hear the Googleverse asking. Okay, it's got a sporty shape. See that sloped roofline? That means sporty. This is actually the first vehicle that wears what will be Buick's new design language, so take it all in. It's got a new face, which, if I'm honest, I don't dislike. Those squinty headlamps look like they could appear on a proper performance SUV, very Camaro-esque. The rear 3/4 angle gets a bit complicated for me. There's lots of pointy shapes and things that look sort of like long brush strokes, which do give the Envista a feeling of movement when it's standing still. But if you look closely enough, you'll see that the brake lights are down quite far below where the tail lights are. And I feel like this design is a little strange. Still, a lot of the design elements on this car came from Buick's Wildcat concept, which is super cool. I do prefer how the RS looks over the Avenir with its dark trim bits instead of the chrome. It suits the sporty styling. But hey, what do you think? As far as how I feel about the interior, this is a pretty pleasant place to be. There are things that I like, and then there are things that I feel could be done a little bit better. Some of the things that I like, I think design-wise, I feel like they've done a great job in here. I kind of like this, how it has like the sort of swooshy shapes to it. They definitely have chosen materials that have some nice patterns and textures. There's a little bit of color here in the stitching. This is the ST version, so it is going to be a little bit more sort of zhuzhed up. Overall, I think the layout is quite pleasing. It's not overwrought with buttons, but I feel like there's a really good balance. A couple of the things that to me will kind of say, oh, it's a little bit of sort of an inexpensive car is the touchscreen looks like it's big, but if you notice, it's literally just this bit right here. So all of this is not being used. Same with the gauge cluster. I feel like this is maybe a little bit of a shortcut, but on this cup holder here, and I can show you right here, there are no inserts for it, so this sort of sloshes around a little bit. To me, this is not a premium feeling situation, so I'm not super crazy about that. You do get some cheap plastics that are pretty much right in front of your face. Again, I feel like that doesn't really scream premium. But again, when you look at the pricing, which we will see in a second, you will have a better understanding of why. So even though that whole panel is not completely touchscreen, according to Buick, it is the largest in the segment. Of course, you'll get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability, as well as wireless charging. At this point, those features are a must on anything that wants to call itself premium. Yes, the Envista is small, but let's see how it does as far as interior space. So up front, you all know me, I'm quite petite, 5'5" tall, and I do okay up here. You get a tilting and telescoping steering wheel, so there's a lot of adjustability that you can do. As far as headroom, it's pretty decent. We do have the sloping roofline that we're dealing with, so that could be a potential, but up here, I'm just fine. When it comes to the second row, let's check this out. Our keys are in the car. So behind myself, it really, as far as legroom goes, not even a problem. Where it might become a challenge is in the back row for someone who's a little bit tall. So I only have about this much room. So, Micah with his big poofy hairstyle might be touching the roof. Otherwise, the seats are very comfortable, and I'm kind of pleasantly surprised by how much room we have in here. Let's just take a quick peek when it comes to cargo, because I'm a little curious about that. You get 20 cubic feet behind the second row, and when that goes down, you're looking at 42 cubic feet. That first number is more than the Lexus UX, Acura RDX, and the Volvo XC40. Since we're on it, the Buick Envista counts all of those as competitors, as well as the Mazda CX-30. Under the hood, you get a 1.2-liter 3-cylinder engine. Yes, you heard me correctly. It is turbocharged, but you guys, this unit only makes 136 horsepower and pushes out 162 pound-feet of torque. Now, that number does not seem high. I get it. And so the question is does this have any acceleration at all? Is it at all fun to drive? And surprisingly, the answer to that is actually yes. If you are already at speed, say on like a highway, and you need to pick up a little bit of juice to get around something, then yeah, the turbo takes a little bit of time to spool up and kick in, maybe about 1.5 seconds. But from a dead stop, or if you are already like sort of going quickly and you need a little bit of a goose of acceleration, this is surprisingly zippy and has some energy. I like it. Whee! I will say this though, it does not make a lovely sonorous noise. It's a little rough sounding.
Regardless of what you might think about that engine, it does check off boxes in the efficiency department. I'm gonna woe is me for a second here. Gas engines are becoming so much smarter, so much more efficient. I feel like we're just getting to the good stuff with them. Let's not throw them away quite yet, people.
When it comes to handling with the Envista, I would definitely level set your expectations, because around turns, I'm not going to lie, there is a fair amount of body roll. Again, this is an entry-level product, not something that you're gonna wanna carve canyons in, but just know that going in.
The brake pedal engages quite quickly at the top of the pedal, feeling a little bit grabby for a car in this segment, but at least you know that those brakes are going to do their job and stop the car.
When it comes to the ride quality in here, honestly, it's not as Buick-y as I would have thought or hoped. It is a little bit on the harsher side, not super sort of comfortable. The engineers had to sort of strike a perfect balance between something that was a little bit sporty, because that's the expectation with something that looks like this, and yet something that is still comfortable. Did they do a good job and succeed? Listen, I don't think anybody else is gonna notice anything, and it's not super harsh. So as far as the quietness in the cabin, I do feel like Buick always excels in this area. Their noise canceling package is really effective. You do get some sound from the road, especially if you're going over kind of bumps like that, but I really don't hear very much wind noise at all, which to me is another indicator of a premium or luxury driving experience. So there, I really think they've hit the nail on the head. If the Buick Envista is interesting to you, Kelley Blue Book can help you find a fair purchase price on a new one. Just click the link right above.
The Envista comes standard with the Buick Driver Confidence Package that includes automatic emergency braking and lane keep assist with lane departure warnings, but you can also opt for more features such as blind zone alerts, adaptive cruise control, rear cross traffic alerts, and even Super Cruise.
What Buick really wants you to know about is pricing. Base model on the Preferred, you're looking at about $23,500. For the top of the line Avenir, you're looking at a little bit under 30 grand with a base price. To get it fully loaded, $31,000.
In a world of high pricey vehicles, that's actually really impressive. Full stop. Yes, you are going to compromise some things like interior materials, but if that bottom line price is really important to you, then this is something to look at. Honestly, that pricing is comparable to mid-priced vehicles like the Hyundai Kona, Kia Seltos, Toyota Corolla Cross, and Honda HR-V. And those are all demonstrably less sporty and European-looking than the Envista.
Will we hear more about the Envista? That remains to be seen. But Buick is definitely trying to make a little bit of a splash in the premium compact segment. Look, personally, I think this car is going to be for someone who's looking for something that is big on style and low on price. It definitely has efficiency when it comes to the engine, and it gets a lot of great tech. So, do we need it? I don't know. I think maybe a better question is, do you?